Hi, I'm Linda OJ.
And I'm Aaron Espindola.
Welcome to the new episode of the Next Gen Business Podcast.
Let's go.
The Next Gen Business Podcast is produced by the Small Business Community Network. Visit them online at www.sbcncanada.org.
Hey Aaron, I went to see my baby grandson today. He's absolutely adorable.
Oh, really? How old is your baby grandson?
10.5 months old.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had 8.5 hours sleep, which is good, but he's rather boisterous. And I said to Melissa, you know what? I'm just here to watch today. You can play with your own son. I'm so me. No, he's adorable. So have any of your friends got children yet, or you're all more sensible than that?
Not any of my friends, but my sister has a kid, and when I was younger, like I was pretty much raised with him. He's 7, I think, right now. So when I was in high school, he was like a little baby. So like I would take care of him and change his diaper and all that. So I love kids. Like I love little babies and stuff.
Oh, that's lovely. A lot of men would say they don't want to do that. I actually changed Lucas's diaper last week. He came to our house because now some of the restrictions, but I always wear a mask. So I changed it last week. I'm thinking, did I put it on the right way? It's a long time since I've done this. And Melissa had to take her brother to the hospital. And when she came back, I go, did I do it right? She goes, yes, Mum. I felt so silly. So I took a day off work today because I think it's always good to know you can take a day off and relax and not think about work. But you got a good topic tonight, I hear.
Yeah, that kind of leads us into our next topic, which we're going to be talking about finances and how to like prepare yourself financially for your future. Is your I think grandson, does he have any like savings set up? Like your daughter set anything up for him or her?
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny you should say that because in my daughter's case, she was born in England and she was 5 when she came here. And we hadn't thought about any of that for any of our kids in England. It seems more like it's the thing now maybe, but not then. Whereas in Canada, when we came to Canada, all of the 4 children paid for their own college. They had 3 jobs. They did it all themselves. And a lot of the friends were saying, oh, God, you know, our parents set up a scheme for us years ago and we don't have to pay a thing. And I'm in 2 minds about, you know, paying for college. I think it gave our 4 children more of, how can I say this, the ability to fend for themselves and know that they, you know, would finish college, whereas a lot of the kids they were at college with didn't finish because the parents were paying. They didn't take it seriously. Not saying it's not a good thing, though. Did your parents set up a scheme for you?
No. My mom and dad didn't really do anything for me, so lucky me. I gotta learn that the hard way. But thankfully, live in Ontario, so they have OSAP and all that, so it's really nice. Especially if it's like, that's a nice thing about OSAP is that it's like loans with pretty low interest and stuff like that. So you do pay it back and stuff, but they do give you grants as well. So for example, like if you're getting a semester like $10,000, $12,000 for the semester, maybe you have to pay back like $8,000 or $6,000. Like it's so you get a bit of a grant and stuff, which is nice. But yeah, I never got any like loan like from my family or anything like that.
I wonder if it's a European thing, you know, because like we're from England. Originally, your parents are from
Mexico.
So I don't know whether it's not really European than Mexico, but you know what I mean.
Mexico gets university.
Really?
Yeah. So if I wanted to go to Mexico, I can go to university there for free, even though I wasn't born there. I'm pretty sure, because I'm still like a citizen if I apply.
So I didn't go to college universities, you know, in England, but at one time you used to be able to go for free in England, and then they stopped that, obviously, you know, they got that out. So I was a saver in England. Parents never gave me any pocket money. Started work at 17, stayed in that job, and so I started saving, you know, because I was already like with my sweetheart and we wanted to buy a house, so yeah, we knew the benefit of saving. So that is something I've always done. I don't know about you, whether you have a savings account?
Right now, I kind of use all my savings to do the company just to start it off and all that. But when you say savings, did you like put it into stocks or anything like that, or do you just have it in your bank account? Just
Yeah, no, no. I wouldn't know anything about stocks way back then. No, I just opened a bank account, a savings bank account, and put so much of my salary in. Now, I don't know whether this happens today, whether it's here or in England, because I've not worked in an office for many years, but in my office I had a really good scheme where they would pay half of my mortgage, a quarter of my mortgage for me, which was a really good deal. And also they gave us something like luncheon vouchers, which you could save up their money for food, and we saved up and we used to go out for meals with them, and that's a big help when you're young and you want to go for a meal with your friends, so they gave us incentives like that. So yeah, my savings account just accrued, and we were able to buy our first small home, because obviously my fiance and then my husband, he saved up as well, and we've installed that in the children as well, and I think they've all paid their loans off, their college loans off, so I'm quite proud of them.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I guess the only thing that sucks nowadays is even with savings, I feel like it's still really hard to even save up for what you want, because just the way the economy is going and growing, it's just your money is kind of, as if you don't invest it into something, it's just going to depreciate with like the economy and go down and all that. So
I think it's a good idea, to invest your money if you know what you're doing. But I gotta say, people are gonna hate me for this. Basically, when I was 17, the cost of living in England, was hard for me as well. But I didn't have a car till I was 23. Didn't have a cell phone, obviously. Didn't have a computer. Didn't have 2 holidays a year. I used to go drinking, obviously, with my friends and nightclubbing. But the thing is this, and again, you're going to hate me for this. Most people are going to hate me for this. I think a lot of people who moan that they can't save for a home or can't save for this, that, and the other. If you look at them, they're spending the money in a lot of ways, whether it's fast food or, buying clothes they can't afford or whatever. And it might sound mean, but I wanted something so much, I would save for it. So what can we do without today, Erin, if we really want to save for something, whether it's a foreign holiday, a car or a house? What would you cut out of your expenditures? Anything you could save that you didn't need to pay for?
Yeah, a big one that I think a lot of our generation is being affected by is fast food. Just eating out, restaurants, you're just paying through the roof, and I'm not saying that a lot of us don't know how to cook, because we do. It's so easy to just go to Tim Hortons or McDonald's, because it's like 5 seconds away from your house, and they're everywhere. All the fast food's everywhere, so it's kind of tough to compete against that. And then when you get home, like, you have to make the food and stuff. So for me, moving out, it was nice, because now I'm actually like cooking my own food. Whereas when I was with my mom, it was like whatever I eat, if I don't like what she makes, I have to go buy something, which I did a lot.
What have you been cooking?
Honestly, just mostly pasta.
No, pasta's nice. We like to do.
Really affordable. If you just get spaghetti noodles or just pasta, pasta sauce, and then ground beef, like, it's pretty cheap.
No, that is fine. You see, I call that, you've probably never heard of it, spaghetti bolognese. The meat. So the meat, I think you call the meat the sauce over here. I don't know, but so I call it spaghetti bolognese anyhow. Now, Dave, my husband, you'll laugh at him. He went to University of Bath, as you know, and his favourite meal, I think he said, was rice and, I wonder if it was rice and pasta. It was something stupid like that. I go, oh my God, that sounds horrible. I think you should start experimenting, and then, when COVID's a bit better, you can invite all your friends around and cook a meal for them.
Yeah, the thing is, I've moved out before, and before I was like actually eating like a lot. I would just buy like steaks and that and stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, this time that I'm moving out, I got to keep it low budget. I'm going to actually try saving up. And then with COVID and all that, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to budget myself. But I do end up spending a lot on alcohol and stuff. So
Well, I think during COVID, I've kept them in. I've kept them in a lot of money. The LCBO. Dave would say no. I mean, I'm not a big drinker. I like a glass of wine. So, being completely serious now, let's take people who've been staying at home and not having to travel anywhere for work, whether it's Toronto or whether it's local. I'm sure those people have saved, gas money or bus fare money, right? So I wonder how many people have saved that money, put it on one side and says, well, I normally spend this much a month travelling to Toronto or Waterloo region, so I'll save that money. I've saved money, you'd be proud of me. I normally go to Tony, my hairdresser, once a week before COVID. So can you imagine how that mounts up? But then I've been buying more clothes online. I save money not having my nails done, but I bite them. So for anybody out there, if you want to deposit for a house, if you're a woman in particular, but a man could apply to this as well, don't go to the hair salon. Don't go and have a pedicure or a manicure. That's a good way to save money. Seriously, though, it is difficult. And even, my own children moan about this. It's too difficult to save up for a deposit for a house or whatever, But I really think, Karen, that we're spoilt in this day and age. I mean, we've got, I think, a telly in every room apart from my office. Do we need all those TVs with just two of us? But we're in a different position to students, aren't we? So how can students save money, do you think?
I think, I think if you don't need a car, don't get a car. That's like one of the biggest things you shouldn't get. They don't really increase in value. They just make you spend a lot of money on repairs. Right now, I'm actually doing a huge repair on my car. So we're removing the starter and we have to take the whole engine apart. So that's costing us a lot of money and time because now we're not using it. And then we have another car that we're actually repairing as well. And we need to keep up with the maintenance. So just having those expenses as a student, it's not very good. It doesn't really help you save because you're not really expecting to spend that much. I think maybe try walking or taking the bus as much as you can would be really good. And then having a good meal plan, because if you have a good meal plan, you can budget it and you won't have to be like last minute being like, oh, I don't have any food. Let me go to McDonald's or let me go to Tim Hortons. Let me go to Five Guys and buy some burgers. Like, I think those are pretty important. But I do notice a lot of people, especially our age, are kind of getting hooked on these like make quick money like those schemes stuff. Like I don't know if you ever heard of pyramid schemes before.
You know what? I'm going to make you laugh now. How long? Just after we'd moved to Canada, we had a really bad time with me and my first husband. We came with a business. We didn't have a good relationship. So if you haven't got a good relationship, it's difficult to work together as a couple, but having a business as well. And so things happened, and so we lost the business, we lost all our savings, and then I got breast cancer. So some friends of ours introduced us to this guy. I'm not going to tell you the name of the company, and I didn't know what a pyramid scheme was there, but it was obviously selling things, okay? And funnily enough, I was going to England in the October, that's right, to see my brother, and so my friends said, you should get involved in this pyramid scheme with your who was then, my husband. And so we bought into it. Well, he did more than me. I didn't want to, but I was the salesperson. And then my brother explained to me in England, he did some quick adding up, and he explained to me that the only person who can gain from a pyramid scheme, which, by the way, it's illegal now, it's called multi-level marketing, and I think it's been, legislature has made it a bit more fair. I hope so. But in those days, the pyramid scheme, the only people who would benefit was the top guy or woman, and then say the first 10 people. And then every time they sell to somebody else and they sell to somebody else, so my brother worked out that I could probably make nothing. Even if I sold to my family and friends and everybody in the world, by the time I'd paid everything back and bought the stuff, and he worked out that nobody really, I was out of it, because then we went through a divorce. But today, it's cryptocurrency and stuff like that I see so many people on LinkedIn and Facebook saying, join my scheme, you're making lots of money. But as Dave explained to me, it's not real. nobody ever feels the money. And if you lose your password, then you never get the money, and it can be stolen. But then again, do you ever see the money in the bank anymore? Because you always pay with a debit card or a credit. Is that money real? Does the bank have any money?
I think cryptocurrency is one of those like really interesting new ones, and I think there's this new one called NFTs or something, and you pretty much buy the right to a video or like a picture or online content, and you have like a one of a kind, and you have to pay for that. So I've heard like crazy stories where they're like ESPN and stuff. I don't know if it's them, but one of those big multimedia companies are selling like pictures and stuff online, and you just buy them, which is another way of kind of getting people that don't really know a lot about things to buy because they see there's a lot of initial buzz around it.
So Dave told me about this. My question is, Aaron, so let's say you've bought something and you've got rights to it. What are you going to do with it now you've got it?
I know, yeah. So it's one of those things that I don't really think, I mean, unless you get the random thing that blows up and then you have the rights to it and you can maybe monetize it, I can see maybe that, but what are the chances that an image of like some random thing on the internet is going to blow up?
I will say though, especially starting, as early as possible, your age or earlier, anybody out there, find a good financial advisor that you can trust. And we've got an excellent one since we've, come to Canada. But then again, find a financial advisor that is actually a financial advisor, because there's been a lot, I'm sorry, financial advisors, but in the news recently, there's been a few that have been bad guys. So how do you find a good guy? Recommendation. So we know a good trusted guy, and he can explain to you, say, for instance, say you want to buy some stocks and shares, how much money do you want to spend? Do you realise that they could go up and down? Because I think it's my youngest son is now dabbling in that kind of thing with his wife. And basically, I know that thing where they keep going up. Do you remember? Everybody buys them and they're worth a lot of money. It was on Twitter or something. And then they all cash it in and get millions of dollars. I can't remember exactly, but that's been going on a lot. So my son's jumped into it, and I thought, it's okay as long as they don't go right down and then they're not worth anything. So
is it like the meme coins? Like the Dogecoin?
I don't know what that is, but it sounds good.
I feel like it's probably something like that, where it's this like random like thing that's trending and everyone buys it and then they sell it, and then people that buy it at the high, they think that it's going to go higher and it doesn't. Like GameStop, it went from like $10 or something to $200 in a couple days.
So my advice is, I think that's a good idea to do something like that, because you could obviously have something good going, but for goodness sake, please find somebody you trust, that somebody really has been using for years, that's not going to take your money and run.
And I guess for me, I'd want to know, because I'm a student, I've never really had a financial advisor, kind of do my own thing, but what are like the price ranges around them? Like, does it cost a lot, or is it?
You know what we could do? We could ask our guy to come on the show sometime if he's got a minute. That's a good idea. Yeah, because I'm one of those women that I was a stay-at-home mom after I had my children. I didn't really dabble much in, financial stuff. And after I'd had a divorce, and this is for anybody out there, not just women, I didn't have a credit card of my own. And obviously, got out of it, got a credit card. And so a woman financial advisor told me, you don't even need to get into debt with a credit card. Just use it for your shopping, pay it back. Don't go overboard and spend it on stuff you don't need. And that way you build up your credit limit, because without a credit limit, you got nothing, have you?
Yeah. I also heard.
Is it a credit limit, or is it what's it called? A credit score?
Yeah, credit score. And it's weird though, because the way credit scores work, I was watching like the CBC Marketplace thing, and they're talking about how to get a better credit score, and you have to have a good balance of debt. You have a good balanced debt ratio kind of thing. And they were saying that if you get a loan and then you pay it off, people would think like, oh, your credit score is going to be higher now that you pay it off. But with cars and stuff, like when you do pay it off, it goes actually down, which I thought was like interesting. I'm like, wait, why does it go down? And they're like, because then it just shows that you're not really like using your money or stuff like that. And I guess credit score is used for banks to see like are you good with paying your money back? And if you have history, and they want you to continue to have that history, but when you don't, it's like, oh.
Yeah, to be honest, it's you can't win, can you? You don't want to get into debt, but you want to have a good credit score. So my advice would be, again, if you get on well with your parents and they've done a good job of the financial part of it, talk to your parents. But basically, say, for instance, anybody listening is coming out of college or university and they want to get, say, into the financial sector or the security sector, or even work for the law enforcement. Isn't it right that you've got to have a really clean background, a financial clean background, because otherwise you're prone then to, being blackmailed into doing bad stuff like embezzling money? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see how that would be a thing. I know some jobs do require you to, like, they do like credit checks and all that, right? But I don't know if all of them will do that, because I think we were learning it in class. Like, they can't ask for things that aren't related to the job too. But if you're working at a bank, I could see how it's kind of related to that.
What gave me that idea? We watched an English program last night, a 3-part series, and cutting to the chase, there's a prison guard who's a really nice guy, and basically, unfortunately, his son was in another prison, which is bad, isn't it? So the prisoners found out, and they wanted him to bring drugs into the prison, and if he didn't, they'd bash up his son, fight him, which they did do. So then he had to bring drugs in, but then he got caught, and then he was in prison. So basically, I guess if you're a prison guard, you've got to have a really, good background. Otherwise, people can make you do stuff. Not that any of the people listening to our program are going to be doing bad stuff.
Yeah, if you have a credit score under 400, you're not going to get a job. No, I'm just kidding.
I think in any job today, you can be a bad person. So, for instance, let's imagine you work at a company and you steal all the secrets and sell it to somebody, because you need the money. Even doing a background check on somebody is not going to tell you that they're going to be a bad person. But basically, I think it's getting more difficult today because of cybersecurity problems for people to get a job in certain organisations without proving that they are trustworthy and honest. Does that make any sense?
No, yeah, that makes plenty of sense, yeah.
Saying that, though, Dave knows a lot of bad guys who were good guys, hackers who've turned into good guys who now have paid fantastic money to show the good guys how to beat the bad guys. So that's kind of not, but
you're the bad guy.
Yeah. What I would say, though, if you are a student and you're saving, well, I don't know whether you're saving money now because you're living with 3 other people. Are you going to get a meal plan? You've got a car? Are you fixing the car yourself, or is it in a garage?
No, yeah, we do it ourselves because we're trying to save some money. I mean, that's another thing too. If you have a car and you can kind of get know your way around with tools and stuff, I would recommend just fixing it yourself. There's a lot of YouTube videos that can help you out, but if you don't know what you're doing at all, maybe don't do that.
How old is the car?
It's 2006.
That's good, though, because a lot of the new cars, it's really difficult to fix them because there's a lot of computer elements to it, isn't there? So, well, good on you for trying to fix it. That's going to save you some money. So do you think then if students in particular have a meal plan, and if they can do without a car and they can catch public transport. Now, got to tell you the truth, we caught that train thing, the new train thing that goes around Kitchener. What's it called?
Yeah, LRT.
We had to go on that when it was free, and then COVID came along and we've never been on it. So how much would it cost? How much would you save by catching public transit versus having a car? You'd save a lot, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think a bus pass is like $60 or something for a month. And I know I put more than $60 a week in gas, so that's just in by itself. Yeah, I drive a lot.
Where the goodness me are you driving every day?
Yeah, we have the truck for the landscaping stuff, so we have to fill that up, and it's usually like 150, and that lasts like a week and a bit.
Now, are you doing your own tax and stuff for when you do your business?
Not for, well, I am for the Booty Beach, but we don't have that much expenses except for when we order stuff, and then I don't have any I'm not gonna claim my house or anything like that, just because I don't think I need to right now, and it's not going to.
That's not going to save you any money. No, that's not going to save any money.
Yeah, it's not really going to save me. It's going to be more of a hassle at this point. So right now, I'm just going to see what the revenues are looking like at the end of the year, and then maybe I might consider doing that. But with the landscaping, we do everything through what's it called? QuickBooks.
Oh, excellent. That's a good way to go. Because, like, when I went to school for a year to be a secretary here and I became a motivational speaker, I had to do Simply Account. Is it Simply Accounting? And I don't think I think Simply Accounting has turned into something else. Oh, it's turned into. But anyhow, basically, they said you can't claim that you're using your car for your business unless you're using it every day for business and you've got a sign on it or something, your name on the, and everything. So, for instance, me, I've got a Mini, which is great on gas for anybody who wants to buy a car, but then again, the car's expensive for a student. So, if I drive to a client's house, which is rare, or a client's office, I can't really claim my gas for that because it's, not the kind. I'm not using it every day for it. I'm normally travelling on a plane, so that's no good for me. But getting back to the students and saving money, I think the meal plan idea is good. Trying to take public transport. You buy a few things from the thrift store, don't you? The shirts and some stuff.
Yeah, I shop a lot at the thrift store, and then I only get clothing that are on sale too. So I don't really go just buy a regular price. Even if I like it, I always get something that's a deal. Sometimes I do buy stuff that I shouldn't be buying, but it's usually on sale, so it's not that bad.
I know you need a cell phone because nobody has a house phone anymore, so a cell phone is a must. But do you really have to have the best cell phone in the world? Not just you, but anybody in the world. If people are trying to save money, why buy the best cell phone? Why not buy a more affordable cell phone? Save money on that.
Yeah, I used to sell phones for like 2 years pretty much, and I work with all the providers. And to be honest, I know like a lot of people don't want to go on prepaid, but if you have a phone, just go on prepaid for a month. It's a little hack, actually. I'm going to give our viewers a little hack. So if you're in Ontario, all the providers, so that'll be Rogers, Bell, and TELUS, they all have like mid-tier providers, which are called Fido, Virgin, and Koodo. Those guys are usually the cheaper ones. And then if you want to go for the really cheap ones, if you get like Lucky, Chatter, or Public Mobile, those are prepaid providers. So if you get that for a month, you can get it on a plan for like $20 a month and just do calling and texting, and you can bring your own phone for 1 month. And after that month, they'll give you a migration offer, which is pretty much like a Black Friday deal, because they don't want you to be on prepaid. That's the thing. They don't want to have you like month to month. They want to have you on at least like a 2-year contract, right? So they'll give you a sick promotion, and if you switch over to whatever that like company's mid-tier provider is, so sometimes it's Koodo, sometimes it's Fido, or sometimes it's Virgin, you'll get like a really sick deal. So if anyone's listening and you're in school and you want to save money on your plan, do that if you're not getting a phone during Black Friday, Boxing Day, back to school. Because if you get a phone during those 3 kind of holidays, you're probably going to get a really, really good deal.
That's a good tip, thank you. So I'm thinking, so the students have left college, university, they've got good jobs. So this is the time to not go crazy and buy the sports car and fly everywhere and, buy the most expensive phone. This is the time to do what you were talking about, investing, get a person to talk to you about investing, which kind of savings account to get, there's different savings accounts. Also, some banks don't charge you anything, no charges every month. Some banks do. So you could save money there, couldn't you, by getting a bank? If everybody needs a bank, don't they? You can't put your money under the mattress.
Another thing too that I would recommend for everyone, not that they have to do it or use it, is getting a credit line. If you have a good cash flow and you're not in debt or anything, that would be a perfect time to get a credit line, because the bank would be giving you the lowest interest at that point, because they know that you don't need the money and they want to give you the money. So they're going to be like, hey, let's get your credit line. So I have one for like $5,000, and my I think mine's like under, I think 11%. if I were to take money out. It's like really, it might be 11. I was also young when I got it, so I kind of forget. I don't really use it. So just having that credit line, like you're not going to be charged if you don't use it. You're only charged whenever you take money out, and it's only the money that you do take out. And this is a really good thing to have if you want to have like access to quick money, like, and you have a good credit score at that time.
I've not used it myself. I'm not, that one where you can have a payday loan. I've not done it myself, but I've heard people do. Doesn't it then cost you more money to pay it back, or is it completely kosher and is it helpful? I don't know.
Yeah, payday loans are pretty much, from what I've heard, is don't do that. Get a payday loan because their whole thing is they'll give you the money, but it's going to be crazy interest rates and your repayment schedule is going to be all messed up and you're going to have to be paying like $400 back every month or something like that. I would recommend credit lines because credit lines are through the banks.
That sounds like a good idea. And you never know when you're going to have an emergency. If you get a good enough job that give you benefits, medical expenses, stuff like that, obviously that's a bonus. And also if they do a pension scheme where you pay so much and they match how much you pay, it's always good to start your pension early. So I guess we've come up with some good tips. It's never too early to start saving, it really isn't. And I want your meal plan by next week so we can share it with our listeners.
My meal plan's pasta every single day, so.
My daughter she's so organised. They have a meal plan. They know exactly what they're going to eat all week. Me and Dave go, what are we going to have to eat today? We're not at all. I think it's boring to plan, but don't tell Melissa. The thing is, we shop. I'm going to give them a shout out, not that they'll listen. Zayas. I think Zayas is Loblaws, isn't it? I don't know. He says Loblaws. Okay. We shop at our local Zales purely because they pack our bags for us and they give us points. So I don't know if you've ever shopped there and got the points. We accumulate the points, we save them up, and every year, we used to spend it to go camping in Algonquin and get all the food and stuff for Algonquin, but we had not been camping. So we're saving it, and we're going to buy a big item there so basically, that's another good way to save money, because in your case or their case, they could buy a whole shopping. Could say they get $100 worth of points, and they could buy all the shopping with it, the food shopping, the grocery shopping.
And another thing, I think some grocery stores, I know Zayres does it. I think it's Tuesday or Monday that they get like 10-15% off their bill just for being a student if you show your student card.
Oh, that's good to know. Obviously, I'm not a student, so I didn't know that. So please show your student card. That's a good way to. But seriously, yeah, where you shop, if you can save money, like I'm not a coupon person. Do you ever use coupons? I'm too lazy.
No, I've never used that, but there is an app called Flip. I know when I used to work in retail Walmart, everyone, like a lot of the extreme couponers would use that app called Flip. You could get that on Android and iPhone. And you can price match because Walmart price matches, and I think other grocery stores do. So if you find the same item on that app, they pretty much price match that as well. So little ways to save. I've never done the coupon thing though.
No, because I'm so lazy. I've seen people do it wrong. I mean, obviously, you're probably not going to believe this. When I went through a divorce and everything, and we're really poor, I literally went around the supermarket with a calculator. Actually, my son used it because I'm so thick with calculator. And we had to really watch what we ate. And it's just one of those things we went through, but we got out of it because we worked hard and we saved money. We didn't have luxuries. I think the first Christmas Dave moved over, we couldn't buy lots of Christmas presents, so we did the Secret Santa, another good way to save. And everybody had to, spend $50, no more than $50. And I knew Melissa wanted this coat. She was only young then. And so I went everywhere, so I found a coat for $49.99. And it was, seriously though, if I hear people of any age moaning that they can't have this and they can't have that, it is about wanting it so much, you're going to give up something. You've got to give up something, surely.
Exactly, yeah, I complain, but then I'm over here buying like a $500 speaker, so I can't be complaining that much either.
And do what you like with your money, do what anybody likes, but I hear so many people, I wish I could have that, I wish I could have the other. And the way I've got it is by working for it. And I'm sure you're the same. You don't just sit down and not do anything. You work for it. Your parents are good parents. They've taught you, how to manage for you. That's another thing. A lot of parents don't teach the kids how to look after the money themselves. And then when they are on their own, they're completely lost, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel like, when I was young, I made a lot of mistakes with money. I kind of bought things I shouldn't. Yeah.
You've learnt your lesson.
If you're a young student, try not to make those mistakes. Try to save your money. I know it's kind of cool to have the newest technology, but at the end of the day, if it works, you shouldn't really be looking at getting an iPhone 12 or 13 just because you want to get the newest one. I have an iPhone 11 and I just bought it in January and I got a sick deal on it, so I didn't have to get the iPhone 12.
No, seriously, I think it's a choice. It's a choice. As long as you're not moaning that you can't have something and you're spending money not in a good way, you're not saving, do what you like with your money. But if anybody wants our tips, we've given some good tips today, I think.
Yeah, I feel like it's always the little things that you can save money and it adds up. Like my one friend he just got the iPhone 12 Plus and he's paying with, I think, Rogers or Bell. I think he was paying $120 and he's getting 10 gigabytes and he had to put I think he got the phone for $0, but then he has to, when the 2 years is up, he has the option to buy the phone for an extra $300, which is a new thing that's happening. I didn't work during phones for that, when that started happening, but then I got my phone at the same time. I got the iPhone 11 because it's 1 year older. I got it for $0. I got a $300 gift card at Walmart. My plan stayed $65 and I'm getting 20 gigabytes of data. And I know it's with Freedom, which doesn't have the best reception, but I'm also in Guelph 90% of the time, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
No, that's clever.
Little things, little sacrifices.
Oh, I think that's amazing. You give some really good tips, honestly, because you are in the position. And I like the fact that you admitted you made some mistakes with money, because we all do. We all make, even me, And so we learn from our mistakes and we move on, don't we? So I think that's great. I always love having conversations with you because you're so happy and you're so real. And I'm not going to tell people you were going to go running tonight and let me down.
Yeah.
It's my fault. It's Tuesday. It's not Wednesday.
Yeah, my fault too.
I think, seriously, I don't know what I'd do if I lose you. I'd have to find some other poor thing to talk to death. Thanks so much for another nice chat, Aaron, but it's goodbye from me.
And it's going to be goodbye from me. And for any of our listeners, just make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the, what's it? The Next Gen Business Podcast, and that's the same that's the same username for our Instagram account as well. And if you want to be a guest, just DM us on Instagram and we'll reply. And goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Check us out at www.nextgenbusinesspodcast.com.